Hello, let's go to the living room. I love coffee so much.
I only worry that I'm crazy, 'cause if it's at all true,
This might be on an angle. It's okay. It's okay. Okay, it is mid-morning right now, and I'm practicing showing up more like this, just on the fly, see what happens. I just finished co-working with a friend who I have been co-working with for about 3 years now. And now I'm sitting here having coffee, and I just want to talk about random stuff, but I brought some, oh, look at her. I'm just going to talk about whatever. This week I had so much embodied stress, like old stress that started to get churned up. And I can say that one of the reasons for that is because I'm fundamentally switching up so much of what I'm doing, how I'm approaching my work, my business, and taking a nod from essentialism, if you've read that book. And I talked about Cal Newport in a last video, practicing slow productivity, and what it looks like when I trim away the non-necessities is that I'm left with decisions and action steps that take a lot of courage, that feel like more of a risk, that I have greater resistance around. When I'm not leaning on busyness and doing this, knocking this off my list, and I'm left with the tasks that are confronting. It felt really overwhelming this week, and there's other things that go into it, but there was a lot of momentum to the stress. So actually yesterday, I stepped away from the screen and cleaned. Like, I just let that energy out through cleaning and organizing and kind of picking up the spring energy. I wasn't playing any podcasts, kind of like what I talked about in the other video of being over reading articles. And when I say that, I'm not talking about news articles, I'm talking about pleasure reading articles. Kind of feeling like that with the podcast too, just wanting the silence. That's new for me because I usually want to learn and take in as much as possible all of the time. And I can have podcasts playing with music, and I watch things on 2x speed and can have a show in the background and all of that stuff. So this is a switch around, and part of the slow productivity piece is, minimizing overstimulation and leaning into that discomfort consciously because I want to. And so that was that. And I decided to mend some clothes. And these clothes have been sitting in my to mend pile for like eons, forever. Isn't that how it goes? Does anyone else have a mending pile or things that you're just like, I'm not going to get rid of it, I really want to fix it, but then it's been 3 months, 8 months, a year, whatever. So this backpack, I'm just going to talk about this stuff because I just want to chat right now. This is not relevant to my work at all. We don't know each other. My name is Maggie and I run a creative research studio. I mean, it kind of is because it's about creative engagement with life. I'm really into crafting beauty and meaning in all of the ways that you can, and listening to your life, listening to yourself, and staying adaptable in that. But this, what I'm really talking about is a divergence from my work. We're just having a coffee chat, right? So this backpack is so cool. So this probably has cat hair on it. This is like a little side strap backpack. I love this for traveling. I got this off the street in Germany. They have this thing, this. I don't know if it's nationwide, I'm assuming it is, but people put things out either on the street in like a nice little box, they fold it, it's really nice, or inside apartment buildings, the whole foyer entryway, from my experience, these old buildings, and there will be a box that says Zuferschenken, and it's people get rid of books, clothes, whatever, dishes, and it's for the taking. So this was a Zuferschenken find, and I wore it and I wore it and I wore it for like 2 or 3 years, and the strap started to pull apart. I don't know if you can see. Wow, look at that craftsmanship. Ooh. Anyway, it's fixed, it's usable again, and it's so cool. It has this little pouch that goes like, okay, look at this. This like pouch that goes like this. Is that so? That reminds me of Kim Possible, isn't it? Like, keep my little cell phone in here. Also, this was also a Zuferschenken situation, but it was in the US. And I also had to mend this. Most of my clothes are free or from thrift stores. I mean, everything's from a thrift store or hand-me-downs. I don't buy new things. I bought a pair of pants from Zara this year and I regretted it. Pants are difficult, right? Pants at thrift stores, it's always so stressful to me because, I mean, you know, it's like trying on pants. It's just, it's a whole thing. But anyway, so I got this shirt too, this shirt is, let's see. This is so YouTube, isn't this? That I'm like, my haul of non-new things. Well, I got this yesterday, actually. I thrifted this yesterday. This is a cashmere J. Crew t-shirt. They've been running this for a long time. I don't know if they still make them. I had one of these like 7 years ago in navy and I loved it and I wore it to shreds. I had to get rid of it, but this is quite the color. And I realized when I got home it had a small hole in it, which I just fixed. I don't know if any of this is interesting, but I am just, last night I was like relishing in this because I was so freaking stressed and needed to make something with my hands. It can be this process of unwinding that we crave when we're making something with our hands. But the thing that isn't always accentuated is that unwinding is sometimes so confronting and so uncomfortable. This is what I was fully confronting this week is, you know, slowing down doesn't always feel good. Even if it's what we need, even if it is truly deeply nourishing, that doesn't mean that there won't be this phase of agitation or, you know, when we slow down, having what we were outpacing catch up with us, having that grief catch up with us, having despair or loneliness or exhaustion, just tiredness, just feeling like soul burnt out, can catch up with us when we sit and make things with our hands. So this is a reminder that it's an incredible way of coming home to yourself and engaging with your life in a new way, having pride in your surroundings, you know. I mean, I repair things all the time around the house. I love doing that. And I'm looking right now what this is on. This is on a table where the drawer pull fell off. It's like a really pretty burnt orange crystal drawer pull that I got a dozen years ago. With super glue, it won't stay on. It will not, it like won't stick onto the thing. So this drawer has no drawer pull, and so maybe I'll repair that today. But anyway, I sewed on a button also. I sewed on a button, and this button, this took me like 6 years to sit down and do. This, the maybe 6 minutes, 4 minutes that it took to do this took me about 6 years of lead up time. So, you know, that's how it goes sometimes. The reason why I'm just coming on here and chatting is because, as I said, things have been feeling so pressurized, and like I'm just trying to practice sharing who I am. I was finding that when I was sharing myself on video before, I was putting on more of a professional air, because I'm posting this within my job, where it's like, okay, I was sharing my personality through that, but I was sharing a very narrow part of who I am. and how I am in this world. And I want to be more generous with just sharing that and like lowering the stakes. Part of my 2024, I'm practicing boldness, I'm practicing risks, I'm practicing showing up in deeper, bolder ways. And one of the ways that I am doing that is by having compassion for where I'm afraid, having compassion for where it feels vulnerable, having compassion for my impatience and how long it takes to try new things, and to, what it's like to wade through discomfort, and I'm just trying to show up as I am in my humanness. I have a podcast called Gentle Musings where I talk about embracing our full spectrum vibrancy and our sweet humanness. And I do that so deeply with clients. I do that, and you know this if you've been a client, or if you are, or if you're in groups with me, workshops. I feel such a deep, deep sense of care in meeting our humanness, and a fondness and an endearment toward our humanness. And it's a constant lesson of also extending that back onto myself. And I do it so well now, but there are these things of wanting to cover over insecurities is very natural. And I'm not talking about moving beyond that and trying to get rid of that. Just seeing like, oh, yeah, it's okay to feel insecure. And I have choices. I have choices in that. And I can be me, or I can try to guard myself against other people's judgments, which is a losing game. We can never fully do that, right? People will judge someone even if they present themselves as perfect. They can judge them for that very thing. So just all I'm saying is just the power in showing up. Just showing up and being yourself is so much of it, it's stuff happens then. It's amazing. You can surprise yourself, and you can inspire yourself and get inspired with what happens when you stay in action and you stay curious about that action. And that's what I encourage through my work, and I'm always practicing that in deeper layers for myself. And so here I am just naming it out loud. If you have been trapped in feeling really insecure about this, that, or the other, I hope that you can extend some compassion back to yourself for that, because it's really hard to hold. And I'll just say this, and you can believe me or not believe me, it's your choice, that people want to see you in your imperfection. People want to see your full spectrum vibrancy and your sweet humanness. People want that. People crave that. And I'm not talking about getting on video or whatever. It can look like a whole bunch of different ways. I'm just talking about sharing yourself, sharing who you are, and trusting yourself to be yourself, I guess. Okay. Next up for me today is I need to work on this offering that's not public, that is about writing. I don't teach, by the way. I don't know how clear this is, especially if you're new to me. So I teach courses on writing, but I don't teach the craft of writing. And what I mean by that is that I'm not so interested in supporting anyone in becoming a better writer or honing their craft of writing. I'm interested in making sure that you sit down and you do write, and that you listen to your desire, and that you follow that aliveness and use writing as a fundamental way in which you interact with the world. You use writing when you feel stuck in a rut, when you feel like compassion is very far away. You use writing to increase your capacity for feeling joy and all of that. So through practicing writing, just like anything else, the generous law of practice is that you get better at what you practice. So you become a better writer the more that you write, the more that you read about writing and are in writing communities. I mean, your writing is going to improve. The craft improves as a result, as a natural consequence of showing up for it and being curious about it, and especially in community when you can talk about it. But anyway, I'm rambling. I'm not sure if this makes sense. I have a offering that's not open to the public that is writing based, workshop based, and I need to go develop that more right now. I'm going in honor of slow productivity, I'm going to do the Cal Newport thing of doing a deep work session. So I think I'm going to do 2 hours. Yeah, I'm excited about it, but something about it, just this sense of stepping into my work in deeper, truer ways, feels vulnerable, you know? And it feels vulnerable to invite ease into the process of work, you know? That good work is hard work, and all of the blood, sweat, and tears. I've done that for so long. And when I do have these moments of ease, and as things are starting to get easier, there is a vulnerability and sometimes a guilt in that. That's a really tricky thing to navigate. Anyway, I'm holding that as I go into working, and I am celebrating a birthday tonight, not my birthday, but a family member's birthday, and we're hosting that here. So I actually need to like get going and work on that. So talk soon. Is that not the cutest pin you've ever seen? Look how tiny it is. It's a new day. I am going to sit down and record a podcast episode for Gentle Musings with my coffee. And I'm so looking forward to talking about what I'm going to talk about. I won't say it here. I'll just leave the mystery open. But that's about to happen. So wish me luck. I'm at a loss for words now that I was just talking for a while. I'll say this. Take risks for yourself. Just bet on your desires. You know, take the steps forward that you're afraid to take. And please don't get hard on yourself around why it should be easier or anything like that. We're on our own timelines, you know? Practicing courage is enlivening, and especially when it has to do with your creativity, especially when it has to do with sharing your voice and yourself and your thoughts and how you see the world and just the colors that you live in. I feel proud of myself right now. I feel hungry. I need a snack. And I hope you go give the episode a listen. The podcast is called Gentle Musings, and I'll have it all linked below. Yeah, I'm gonna go have a snack, and